Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute. And today we had Jameson. We are almost done with the Jameson. Nice. I need to buy another bottle of that at some point.
Cool.
And a few people are celebrating with us.
All right. Rock and Ron's in the house. First out the bat. How's it going? Happy Hump Day to you as well. Joy's in the house. Guide Guru's in the house. Ferocious Feral Girls in the house. Marvelous Michael. Dandy Daniel. Marvelous Metal for Gemini. Jazzy Jeff. And Super See the Lights is the group right at this point.
Very good.
We went from 0 to 15 in 2 seconds.
I know. It was amazing.
Yeah, very good.
All right, everybody. Going to be a fun little show tonight. And why don't we start it off as we always do, asking how sales are. Let us know how your sales are out there in the feed.
Yeah, sales, eBay are still up and down, and Sundays are atrocious, putrid. I don't know what's going on, but it's like every Sunday, I know I'm going to have crap sales. No matter what I have listed, crap sale Sunday, I call it. Amazon's up and down.
You should contact eBay. They should do a marketing campaign.
Yeah, that'd be great. Amazon's up and down, but still no complaints there. Websites, little up and down, but still happy. Still better than everything's still better than eBay. And the DVD site is kicking in full steam because we just picked up a 10,000 DVD collection. So
wow,
we're good to go.
I'll see how everybody else is doing. Who else came in?
Guide Guru, less putrid. I guess less putrid's good.
Oh, Ron said Mew.
Metal sales are good, then bad. Yeah. Exactly.
Worst days in a while.
Triple J's in the house.
Hello.
Yeah. A little stale is a good word to use.
Same as usual. Lots of old, inexpensive items.
All right. Good to know.
Poshmark. Okay.
All right. How about you?
So we're going to call it, not quite, we're going to round. We have 22,000 items on eBay.
Okay.
Yesterday I sold one. One item out of 22,000 in one day. That's not good. Today,
I gotta stop you for a second. So I get paranoid with my sales and I try to look deep into it. Like, what is the reason? Is it because like I got less sales, less positives, and more negatives? And am I like lower in searches? But when you tell me someone with 100% positive, 20-something thousand items, and you're doing one,
Yep.
It's definitely not just me then. You know what I mean? It's hitting everybody, good, bad, ugly. Nothing we can do about it right now.
It's not you, it's me. Now I had really good sales on Monday, which surprised me. I had decent sales on Sunday. Today hasn't been very good.
Now, should Monday have been good because it was a holiday, or bad because it was a holiday?
I would think bad because it was a holiday, because it's, I think a lot of people were doing a lot of stuff that day.
I did decent too.
And I did decent that day.
Yeah.
Tuesday was just, it was brutal. I mean, that
Wow.
really, when you sell one item out of 22,000, that's brutal.
Yeah. I mean, think about how long it would take you to sell your whole inventory one item a day.
22,000 days.
Exactly.
But yes, about 60 years thereabouts. But my thought was, I don't know. I know different parts of the country. Where's Don?
Go on. I'm sorry.
People go back to school at different times, but up here in upstate New York, today was the first day of school. People were doing their last summer things. They're getting set for school, buying all that. And in other parts of the country, if they started a week ago, whatever, you're still setting up, parent-teacher conferences. You're still, because they always do that early in the year,
right.
or they bring you in to tell you what's going to happen this school year.
Yep.
You're buying the school supplies. You're doing this. You're doing that. And even if you started 2 weeks ago, you might be low on money because school supplies are not cheap.
Supplies.
Exactly. I remember it always ran $100, $150, at least back in the day, for school supplies. And that's a bit of a hit. And then
I didn't have to go this year. My kid got his license. He went on his own.
Well, but the other thing too is, all right, you go to wherever, Walmart, Staples, wherever you go to buy your school supplies.
Yeah.
Say it's Walmart. What are the odds that you're going to go into Walmart and just buy school supplies?
No, forget it.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
So then you're there. You're like, oh, we could do the. Oh, the rotisserie chicken looks good for dinner. Let's get this. Let's get this. And suddenly that $100 school supply is a $350 bill.
Yeah. Well, Wegmans is the worst because I go in there and I want to be in and out, and before you know it, I'm spending an extra $100 on these little things that I want to get, and I get suckered into it. It's very easy.
Yep. So I kind of was expecting things to be slow, not as slow Tuesday, and Monday was actually positive as far as it was a lot better than I thought it would be. So it's kind of it's crazy.
All right, we got Dandy Dave's in the house. How's it going? Nice Nova. Awesome antiquarian. This is a shocking stat. Look at this.
27,000, one $4 sale. Oh,
that is brutal.
That is brutal as well. You out brutaled me, Popeyes.
Yep. So it doesn't matter your eBay rating, which mine was. Well, mine. We'll tell you later why mine went up a little bit. It went down and back up, but it's crazy. Cool. Kelly's here.
I don't know what to blame. My sales are okay, but should be a lot better. Yeah, exactly.
All right. I was crying for you. Here she is. Delightful Dawn.
Here I am, the one that you love.
I always fall into that trap.
That's Air Supply.
Of course it is.
Trying to get to work, and I'm stuck behind his grade school in grades. Exactly.
Yep.
Your tax dollars at work, Eric. Your tax dollars at work. How about a couple of things here before we head into buys. Promoted were 22 out of 39. So going about 55%, which seems to be about where it is normally. Offers 44 old ones, 125 total, which last week was 129. So people are still seeing the stuff because, as we said, because of the automatic send offers, I'm only counting the ones that I send myself. I'm sure it's sending some offers out for me that I don't even notice. So it's still holding up there. The traffic is definitely there. It's just nobody's pulling the trigger. Had a very good week. Then the weekend hit, which was crickets. Monday was very good. Yesterday was a whooping 200. So everybody seems to have had a bad Tuesday.
So I think this is the one thing we're overlooking. If we're all doing a lot less on a regular basis, obviously eBay's making a lot less as well. And that's going to be hurting them as much as it's hurting us, obviously. But they don't have a solution. And I think that's the problem. They're making things worse by this whole international shipping crap that I got to deal with. And well, you've seen that one guy. It's just a nightmare. Well,
between the international shipping and between the fact that they don't want the low value buyers, what they seem to forget is you take, it's great to get a $500 sale, but if you get $10 sales, you're still at $500 and they're not doing any of the shipping, the packing, anything. In fact, they actually make more money off of $10 sales overall, or at least they used to. I don't know where the percentages change at, but still, well, the 30 cents per item they do. Yeah.
Crazy.
Gator sausage and beer tonight.
Interesting. Nice. Very cool.
Sure, you covered this before. Do you manually count your offers, or is there an eBay report for that? I manually count them. I keep track manually. That's why I only provide the ones that I send out. There would be an eBay report. If you go onto your seller hub, look at all items, it'll tell you the number of offers sent. That being said, I don't know how often it updates. I don't know if it updates every day, every 2 days, but it will tell you right there on your hub, underneath all your items. It will say offers sent. I'm hearing a lot of people having up and down sales lately. Either there's some server issues, they're throttling sales, which overall, if everybody had a bad Tuesday, I don't think they would be throttling all of us for Tuesday. I just don't think the site's getting the traffic. I think that's probably what it's coming down to. How about any buys? Anybody out there buying? How about you, Mr. Magazine?
Not too much going on here. Aaron's got a lot of deals in the works all over the country in the next month or so. But as far as local buys, I'm picking up a lot of Funkos. And again, I'm offering less than I normally would. And people are taking it because no one else out there is buying. With all of my competition around, their sales are down, cash in their pockets down. So they're not even buying at all. So I'm able to take advantage.
One of our subscribers sent a picture over that I should have forwarded to you. He was driving down the street and person had Funkos in their yard, a box, free.
Oh, God. Well, that's almost as bad as Funkos and dropping off 10 million ones in the dump.
Hey, Jiminy Flip it, welcome.
Jimmy's in the house. How's it going?
Oh, did sell one item on $million.peddlers. I sold 4 on Etsy, I think. I sold and got paid for 4. Then a 5th item I got an offer on. A gentleman made me an offer. I accepted the offer, and I haven't heard anything since then. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly how these offers work over on Etsy because the guy sent me the offer through the system. I accepted it, and that's the last I've heard of it.
I swear, if you ever listed on Etsy for a couple months, I think you'd beat your eBay sales.
You're probably right. I think you're probably right. I did go over to an estate sale on Friday. I had Friday off, doctor's appointments and all that kind of stuff. Hit an estate sale right around by the doctors, spent $11, some books for whatnot and that kind of deal. Never did get a call from the guy I was talking about last week with the estate sale. Never did get that call. So I guess I'm not buying those books. I did get into the garage and sourced a few things out of my garage for Whatnot, and I'll be trying to do that again this weekend. And I went over to the East Aurora Flea. Terrible. It was a beautiful sunny day. I think there were 5 or 6 dealers outside, and it's one of those flea markets that they got like almost like the garages, and they open the doors up and you can go shopping there. I'd say about half of them were closed on a nice sunny day.
Was it like 90 degrees out?
It was a nice day. Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
Why?
Yeah. Now, granted, it was the holiday weekend, but still, I bought the book I'm going to show you, item of the week. I found another book from 1827, and I didn't find much else. There really was not a lot out there. Did go over to the Chicken Wing Festival. Had a lot of fun over there. That was great. So do check it out if you are in the Buffalo region next year. Not a lot of glitches, Mr. Magazine. The only one that I found, well, there were 2. One was yours, and I don't know, did you ever get it cleared up with stamps?
I don't know. Which glitch was that?
We couldn't print postage because you could only half the page would load?
Oh, yes. So for whatever reason, when I went to the warehouse, it was working. That's all I know. So everything came up nice, and I finished up there. But
have you tried it again at the store?
Yes, because I was looking for the Canadian buyer's address. Last time it was programmed into your computer because I didn't know his address, and this time it was not. So I had to pull the order up and do it at the warehouse. But yeah,
for some reason it doesn't save that gentleman's
but
address.
It did because I just used it a couple weeks ago on your computer, so I don't know what's going on.
So stamps is glitchy.
Yeah.
And the other one was I had a situation where I was on eBay and I was trying to do postage in North Carolina. No options available. I don't know if you've ever had that come up on something.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there were no options available to send something to North Carolina. And actually, if we go over to e-commerce bites, a couple other people were talking about having the same problem. I just refreshed and then options came up. A subscriber did reach out to me, and e-commerce bites was also talking about this glitch. A lot of people were having problems last week having to prove they weren't bots. So they had to check the box, and then they had to point out all the giraffes, or they had to do those various things like that. They had to do all of those things as well. Kind of crazy. Yeah, Dr. Vinny Boombots. Exactly. So I head on into the item of the week. Pick this up. This was actually the item that I picked up at the East Aurora Flea. There it is. And it was sitting on a shelf like that. And it looked older, so I pulled it out. Are you familiar with who Jack Johnson is, Mr. Magazine?
Is he a boxer?
Indeed, he is a boxer. This is Jack Johnson, In the Ring and Out by Jack Johnson, his autobiography. 1927 first print. This is worth, I paid $1 for it. It's worth on Abe Books between $35 and $75. Not bad for $1. If you are lucky enough to find it in a dust jacket, which unfortunately I wasn't, it's about a $250 book.
Wow.
So do keep your eyes open out there for Jack Johnson. Kind of a neat little book. One I've never seen before. So I definitely pulled it out and I said, I bet that's pretty good. And like I said, it's a $35 to $75 book out there. Good luck to you finding it. They are out there though, 1927 first print.
Cool.
There are also modern reprints of it. And even the modern reprints go for about $20.
Are you keeping it?
No, I'm going to sell it. Why, you interested?
No.
Okay. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Counterfeit warning for a signature on a book and got into an endless loop trying to get customer service.
Crazy. How many fake book signatures are out there? I never heard of any.
Probably not too many. No. Those are books. Books tend to be something that's pretty safe overall on that in general. Gonna head on into everybody's favorite segment. If I can find the band hammer. There we are. Whoa, makes its appearance. There we go. Got a few of them this week. So I had an American Girl magazine from August 1966, $28.23, free shipping. That actually is a Girl Scouts publication. I don't know if you knew that or not, Mr. Magazine.
Nice.
Guy offered $8. I declined because I'm not making anything. He then countered at $11. I declined because I'm still not making anything. Mr. Magazine had a Crystar Crystal Warrior figure, $135.54. Now, remember Crystar? They actually did a comic book of it, as I recall.
Exactly.
Yep. You got a $50 offer on a $135. And that's got to be 1980s, right?
It's very rare. I mean, I've never even seen one before until now, but yeah, people are crazy.
I'm torn between which of these two is the worst offer. I think mine beat yours.
Okay.
You had an April 2012 Fitness RX magazine. You wanted $15 on it. You got a $1 offer. That's pretty bad.
That's bad.
Although you add shipping onto it, so you were making something or other.
$7 maybe.
Yep, ban hammer. And my bad offer of the week, I had Wings for Life, which is actually a pretty rare book. $169.22 free shipping. I got a $20 offer on it.
Definitely
on a $169 book.
That's way worse,
yeah. I did not ban hammer that gentleman because he had one positive. So my thought is he probably doesn't know any better. So him, I did not ban hammer. I would ban hammer somebody or other if they had, 350 positives, because at that point they definitely know better.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point, you're just wasting my time. Mr. Magazine had a customer issue, and these are the ones that we absolutely love. Mr. Magazine had a Rolling Stone magazine. The guy emailed Mr. Magazine through eBay. That magazine sells for half of what you're asking. Of course, I told Mr. Magazine to give him the stock answer. That is good to know. You will have no problem finding another one then.
Exactly.
Which is actually the best answer to give the person, because obviously, why do you want mine if you can buy them everywhere else at half price?
Exactly.
Maybe you're fibbing. You had a little bit of a problem, Mr. Magazine. Just one. Vero rights. So you got veroed.
I did.
You did.
Okay. What was the item this time?
You got viral because of a Joe Montana signed Notre Dame Riddell helmet.
So is it for Joe Montana or Notre Dame?
Or Riddell helmet.
Or Riddell. Yeah. I don't think it's Joe Montana. I think it's
really?
Yeah, because I have tons of Montana stuff. I got Niner stuff, Chief stuff, and it's a Notre Dame item.
Well, it was signed.
Right. But it was legit. I think it's got a legit COA with it.
Yeah, so I don't know who veroed you, but you did get veroed on that.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, good friend of the channel, Auction Professor, is back live, or he was back live this last week. I don't think he's going to have a live show this week, but he's going to have one next week. But he said something that was kind of interesting, and I want to hear your opinion about this, Mr. Magazine.
Was he sick or something?
He moved, so he was busy moving in his house and everything.
All right.
He said that when you have an issue on a site, that nowadays it's easier to fight, and he didn't mean fight, he meant, to get things cleared up and to deal with and have things solved with Amazon versus eBay, whereas in the old days it was the other way around. Discuss.
In my experience, Amazon is way harder just because the communication, the customer service, they really don't know much, and they've never really been able to do anything for you. It is what it is, and then they'll say just email to this site and so forth, and But where eBay, the last 6 months, a year, we call through. Wow, you've been a loyal customer for 27 years. That's great. So we get a little respect, and they try and help us out for the most part. Other than that whole adult thing going on, everything else has been good. We had that negative issue that we called in. They were great with that. So, there's still some positive with eBay, but as far as communication and customer service, they are way better than Amazon still, from my experience.
Wow. And I actually would agree with Don, the Auction Professor. I think Amazon has gotten a lot better. They used to be absolutely no customer service whatsoever. But I'd like to posit my theory as to why. They're in the crosshairs of the federal government. The FTC is looking at them, and there's talk that they may want to break them up, may want to do things to make it better for third-party sellers, because all the shenanigans that Amazon can do with them. I think Amazon reads the writing on the wall, and I think they're like, we better pay a little attention to the third-party sellers and not really just, our way or the highway with them.
Yeah.
So I tend to think that has really changed Amazon, and been a lot of changes ever since they've been in some trouble. So I think that they're a lot easier to deal with than they were in the past, would be my opinion. Whereas in the old days,
Thunder agrees with me.
Yeah. Oh, in the old days, there was no dealing with them.
Horrible.
There was no dealing.
Very
Now, at least you haven't, and now they'll sit there and they'll hit you with a trademark infringement, which of course, potential trademark infringement, which is ridiculous because it's something like, you're listing onto an existing listing and there happens to be a Marvel comic, and then 1 out of 10,000 Marvel comics they hit people with because it has the word Marvel in it.
Yeah, I think we're going to test the waters with this Amazon thing because the health thing going on where you need to have it over 250 and all that. So we were actually, when they revamped that whole thing, we were at, I think, close to 500, around 500. Now, and we had like, say, 200 violations, 500 rating, which was great. Then 450, 400, 300, 250.
Really?
With 50 violations. So we went down 150 violations, but we also went down in our rating. So now we're at like 240.
I think you need a lot of violations. You should list a lot of Chanel.
But I mean, well, we don't know what the reason is. Is it, is it sales? Because our sales are pretty steady. So, but I mean, I think I want to call them up and see if they really have an answer. Because what could they really say if we said, hey, when we had 500 rating, we had 200 violations. Now we have 240 rating with 48 violations. How do you figure? And the one that counts for the most, we're at like 1 or 2. It's like nothing. So,
well, I'm at 216 eternal. I've been at 216. Once I dropped down to 188 because of a violation, I cleared it up and I'm back at 216 eternal. Smash the like button. That will help the channel. Do appreciate it. I always forget.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're down 10 or 20% in the last year, but I mean, I think dollar-wise we're down. Items were not down so much, but who knows? But we're gonna call and find out, I think.
Okay. Friend of the channel, I can't hear to like me. We all like we come by and we'll punch your like button.
Yeah.
How is your hip doing, Mr. Magazine? By the way,
it's doing great. I've been cleared for the most part with everything. Staples are out. I'm walking around, no cane, driving. I got to see the surgeon one time as a follow-up post-op, and it's Friday. I'm lifting a little heavier, a little more. I'm not so exhausted at the end of the day if I overdo it. So, just a little pain in the swelling area, the left side of my leg. Other than that, pretty good. Hopefully another couple weeks, and maybe I can step it up and get to the gym and do some cardio or something. We'll see.
Maybe you'll be able to carry those boxes I got for you to carry outside today.
I didn't get cleared. I can lift over 10, but they've not cleared me over 10 pounds. Sorry.
Wow. So another interesting thing going on out there, the feds are after a $1.3 million Pablo Picasso painting.
Ooh.
It was sold at Christie's to a lawyer who's allegedly involved with some big scandal going on with the Malaysian government fund. Happened a few years ago. There was allegedly some shenanigans, money disappearing. Some insane amount of money disappeared out of Malaysia. Apparently this lawyer allegedly, I don't want to get sued, allegedly was involved with them, may have used some ill-gotten gains to purchase this Picasso. So I guess if it's somebody else's money, I'd buy a $1.3 million Picasso also.
True.
Somebody went to a New Hampshire Savers in 2017 and spent $4 on a painting. It's a $250,000 painting.
Wow.
This is the crazy thing. I'm gonna say the last name of an artist, Mr. Magazine. This is who the artist was. I want to see if you make a guess as to what the first name is.
Okay, Pablo. Claude.
Are you just saying random names now? Ernest. Now you threw me all off my game.
Ramon.
Wyeth is the last name.
I have no clue.
Most people, when they hear Wyeth, think of Andrew Wyeth, who is a famous artist. I actually, for whatever reason, maybe because I deal with older stuff, immediately think of N.C. Wyeth, the father. And it actually is an N.C. Wyeth painting that's worth the $250,000.
No, is it Wyatt and he has a lisp, or is it Wyeth?
Wyeth, you ask. Another thing going on here, Mr. Magazine alluded to it earlier. You had 4 negatives removed. Why don't you tell us this exciting story, Mr. Magazine?
Unfortunately, we've had problems are up. Mistakes with our new employees are up. And sales and positives are down. So our rating just keeps dropping and dropping. And, we usually have 0 to 1 negative over time. Now we're being 3, 4, 5. We got up to 8. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. Let me see what's going on. And usually I'll email Paper going and say, hey, can you at least respond to these negatives? Because a lot of them are kind of like ridiculous or unnecessary or exaggerating or whatever. So I looked through these, and there was 4 of them, and I called paper. I go, these are really absurd. I go, I want to call them and just see if they would take these off. And wouldn't you know, they removed 4 negatives.
Right. And here's the crazy thing about it is I responded to him on Mr. Magazine's behalf. And sometimes there's the fear that if you respond, that they're not going to take it off because you've responded. Right. We responded to all 4 of these, and they did take them off. The first one that they took off, you turned the book upside down and you baked it. First of all, people do not turn books upside down, then mail them. That's not right. I need to be completely honest with you.
So
I don't even understand what that means. You turn it upside down.
So
you can turn it.
If we ship the book this way or magazine, now this way, what if the post office delivers it this way the whole time? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And the lady on the phone from eBay was cracking up. She was like, I don't even understand it, so I'm taking it off.
You turn the book upside down, which it's a magazine.
What about baking it? How do we bake it?
Well, first off, did you put it in your easy bake oven before you sent it out?
No, it was 90 degrees out. But he doesn't know that. You
turned the book upside down and you baked it. Do not turn books upside down, then mail them. That's not right. Exactly.
I'm Mr. Magazine for 27 years. I guess I'm dumb. I've been doing this wrong the whole time.
If you ship them upside down, you are, yes. Do you have the this side up stickers?
I'll have to find some, from now and put them on every magazine we sell.
The second one, I understand why they took it off, was supposed to be sent to other addresses requested and was not easy to go and get my packages torn. Also, that one I completely understand because they wanted you to send it to a different address than the address on file. You can't do that.
Sometimes we can change it, but if a lot of times it's the last minute thing where we already printed the label and we're just taking our change. If it's something valuable, we'll look deeper into it. But if it's something cheap,
right? But if you do change it,
yeah,
and then they claim they never got it,
right? Exactly.
They win. So exactly. That one's that.
Yeah.
The next one, literally, I don't know where this sign is on the keyboard. It essentially looks like a staple.
Yeah.
They found somehow or other, they found an icon that showed a staple. Mm-hmm. And that was your entire negative review.
She laughed at that one as well.
Yeah. I did respond to that. Do not understand the feedback, which again, I do not understand what a staple is.
And we didn't have to contact the buyer and communicate with them. eBay just said, hey, we're going to take these. Because they, maybe they looked at our history and like, wow, you have 8 negatives and you usually have 1 or 2. This is something going on, so we'll help you out, and then they did.
And then the last one was, I have not received this item, which was in reality returned to the seller and signed as delivered. In fact, it should have been marked in bold, bloodied red as fake delivered. I demand a refund. Now, you did refund them once we realized it did come back.
Right.
And fake delivered is an interesting thing for them to actually put on there. I don't believe they're going to do that anytime soon.
Definitely.
They were definitely baked when they complained. I would agree with that one completely. Spilled out all over the place.
Could happen. Lovely Linda's in the house. How's it going?
At the Hillsville Flea Market, they give away 49 in pristine condition 1980s Playboys.
Oh, nice. Pristine. Yeah. You got to get those graded maybe.
Dolly
Parton's a good one if you have that.
Someone recently gave me a positive that was just the letter A. I would rather have a positive A than a negative staple.
Exactly. Yep.
That was kind of crazy. A couple of other things going on. All right, this one, I don't know if this is a glitch or just something crazy. So I sell original artwork.
I think we all know that. And you're retiring soon.
27 weeks, 2 days. Thanks for asking.
And you're a one-man band.
Indeed, I am. So I had Nancy. Remember the comic strip Nancy?
Sounds familiar.
Well, first off, and I've mentioned this before, there is the Nancy theory of comic strips, which is that Nancy has never been funny.
Okay.
But I've read the comic strip for 35 years, and I have to read it again today because what if today is the day that it's funny? If I've invested 35 years, you got to invest another day in it.
Yes, that's correct.
There you go. So I had a Nancy original comic strip art. I had it listed at auction. It did not sell.
Can't believe you don't want to keep it for your collection.
Not Nancy, no. So I went to relist it.
Okay.
And when I went to relist, it was set to go into auction because that's what it already was.
Yeah.
You know how eBay gives you the suggested prices on there?
Mm-hmm.
It was suggesting that I sell this Nancy for $25 because that's what others have sold for. Okay. I then, which it's a one-of-a-kind item, so where's that number coming from anyway?
Well, there could be anything named Nancy that they're dealing with there.
But so $25, I was going to put it at auction. Obviously, I'm not going to follow their pricing. I'm listing it at $84 free shipping. I click through to change it from auction to buy it now. Their suggested price moved to $75. So if you're going to put it at auction, it's a $25 item is your suggested price.
Yeah.
Your suggested selling price. It says this is what others have sold for.
Yeah.
If you put it and buy it now, then suddenly the suggested selling price changes to $75 because they've sold for $75.
Right. So did you listen to eBay?
No. It changed $50 with my changing one button. No, they're making numbers up. No, I'm not listening. Oh yeah, we're moving way up.
Big time.
You might be baked too, John Jones. I'm just saying. Just saying. I'll try not to ship you that book upside down. Another problem that I'm finding over there is item specifics. If you try to list a Boys Life magazine, like I had a Boys Life magazine and I was doing a little updating on the listing.
Yeah.
It suggests you should list it as Life magazine and then immediately changes to Life magazine. So you have to click and change the title back to Boys Life. And sometimes it says, no, it's Life magazine and changes the item specifics again for you. Another one they will do that for is anything with the word home in it. They try to say it's home magazine. So I had a home needlework magazine and it gave me a hard time trying to list it as home needlework. It tried to tell me it was home magazine.
What about Homey?
I don't know. I've not had that magazine, but I'll look into it.
Try it.
99 cents turning price and free shipping. Yeah, right? Right? Not for Nancy. She's well worth that. Have you noticed that Amazon is still offering ground advantage and first class?
Yes. Some things are just first class. Some things are ground. Some are both. And eBay's the same way sometimes with stuff.
Well, and I don't know how this happened. I was over on Amazon buying shipping, and the first class option was actually 6 cents cheaper.
Yep.
So I bought it first class.
Yeah, why not?
I said, hey, I'm going to save 6 cents. They were going to get there the same day.
They fixed it. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, 6 cents. If I do that on every order I sell, I'll make like 12 cents a day extra. Hit a time machine. There you go. All righty. We're going to head on into the main topic. Are you ready, Mr. Magazine?
Yes, I am.
How long can you coast in reselling?
Well, years ago, I would think not as long as I can now, meaning I didn't make as much, but I also didn't have as much. But, and I was more likely to get kicked off and not have, backup plans as far as other platforms and stuff. So now I think with all the platforms we have and the inventory we have, and I've thought of these things like even when eBay was very slow, like I really don't want to fire any employees. Like that's the last thing I really want to do unless I absolutely have to do that, so then I cut back on buying and that kind of compensated. But, with the inventory we have now, it would suck not buying these big deals, but I think I could coast for a year, 2 years with crappy sales as long as I bought no inventory. For the amount of money we're spending $1 million+ a year, think about if I spend no money next year, that's in the sale. Even the sales are going to drop because you don't have new product, I guess. So let's say, sales drop 500,000. I still should be able to coast if I buy nothing at all and use the inventory we have, maybe cut down some employees' hours or something, but, I'm trying to be more efficient, but I think I can coast a year or two,
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking this question is life happens. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You take a vacation, somebody gets sick, car breaks down, this happens, that happens, and you're rushing around, you get back and you got to, something or other happened in the house. You got to work on that. You got to get your car on. You got to do this. And all of a sudden, a long weekend becomes 2 weeks where you barely do anything, or 3 weeks where you barely do anything.
Right.
Or you get into one of these things, which a lot of us get into. You get into these funks where sales are absolutely terrible. And you're sitting there going, I don't really want to list. Why am I going to waste my time listing when nothing is selling? Obviously, listing new inventory does help.
Yeah.
But let's say that you didn't list new inventory.
Right.
If you've got a number of items. I guess the way I look at it is I've got, we'll call it 22,000. Popeyes had 27,000.
Yeah.
He made one sale in a day. I made one sale in a day.
Yeah.
If I didn't list anything for a month, I could do one sale in a day. I mean, I just can't.
Yeah.
And I'm listing stuff and I'm doing one sale in a day.
And again, I guess if it gets really, really bad, like every platform's crappy and I'm making, 10% of what I used to make, then I got to have some life changes. Whereas like, hey, I got to get rid of my truck. I don't need a fancy truck. I got to get rid of this car. And then I have like, hey, I have great inventory, but they're $20 item inventories. Do I want to start selling comics out of my collection or Star Wars toys out of my collection? So, those are my backup plans. I don't want to go out of business. I don't want to close a company or fire people. So I guess, in emergency, I would have to make those type of life choices that I hopefully don't have to make.
Yeah. And it, like I said, I was just kind of thinking about it because, things happen and other things take precedence, especially you got kids. Now you're going back, you're bringing them back to school. You got this, you got that. One of the kids, God forbid, gets sick or you get sick or whatever ends up happening. You'd be seldom not allowed to have a life. There you go. And there are times where I don't. And that's why when I don't have a lot going on, I put my nose to the grindstone and I work really hard on stuff. Right. Just kind of knowing that there are going to be times where I don't want to do it necessarily.
Sure.
We're not buying. I have a couple of years. Well, that's one of the things. Yeah. Between buying, not really hitting the listing very hard. I've been kind of coasting a little bit on eBay lately because I'm transitioning to, well, that's a personal thing. No, I'm transitioning to putting a lot of stuff over on Whatnot because I find that venue is working better for me for my situation at this moment. And thank goodness I am because I'm selling more than one item on Whatnot.
Right, exactly.
Kind of deal. And so when eBay's slow and you're only selling one item, I've got the Whatnot coming in and selling stuff. And the thing with Whatnot is they do have a marketplace available. So you could list stuff directly into the marketplace and make sales. That being said, I don't use that. I don't have the time to use that right now.
Yeah.
So you can't really coast on Whatnot because you got to keep setting things up for auction. You got to keep getting things up for auction. So I cannot coast over there. If I'm having success there.
You don't have to worry about selling one item on Whatnot. You're pretty much guaranteed. You keep putting the stuff on you're putting on, you're going to sell 30 items in an hour or whatever.
Yeah, I'm doing 75 to 90% sell through.
Nice.
In an hour. I cannot argue with that at all. Now I'm not, obviously I'm not getting rich, but I'm doing well enough there. But the question is, I'm picking up $100, $120 a show for an hour.
Right.
I'm selling one item on eBay in a day. That's tough.
Sadly, might be something I may have to transition if eBay gets worse and worse and worse and start getting me and an employee into doing a Whatnot. Who knows? At least we have an expert here to,
Yeah, no, and it's definitely, like I said, and that's one thing why we've always talked too about having a lot of venues. I've been coasting on Amazon for a year now. I really haven't, and I'm still making sales on it because I have enough of a backstock of inventory. Yeah. I finally listed something on Amazon the other day. I think 2 or 3 items. First couple of items I've listed on there in 3 months. I've not been listing very much on there, and that's because again, there are only so many hours in a day, and I list a few items on eBay, a few items on Amazon, item on Etsy, and then I set up the Whatnot auctions because I'm seeing that that's where, for me and my situation, it's the best place for me to be listing right now because, again, it's the only thing that's bringing in money fast on stuff. I let my eBay coast for the last 15 months. eBay has been chugging along with me sending offers, still do about $2,500 a month, but doing 5 times that and Whatnot where all my time is. Yeah, exactly. So Popeyes is kind of the same as me. Has figured that out, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
It just kind of depends. And I'm going to be doing a video at some point diving deeper into Whatnot because I've got some more theories about it, and I've actually been running some numbers on it. So it might actually be eye-opening the numbers that I can provide on that over there. And I'm actually going to be seeing Popeyes, unless he sees me first, down at Allentown Paper Show. He's going to be down there, and I'm going to be down there as well. So maybe I can sucker him into another interview on the channel, and if so, I'll ask him about Whatnot.
Cool.
It can get worse.
Hopefully not.
We are heading on into fourth quarter, so get your Halloween stuff up and start getting your Christmas stuff ready to go up. Now, it's funny. I always save Halloween, Christmas stuff all year long. This year, I'm going to be putting it over on Whatnot. I'm going to be doing a couple of holiday auctions over there as opposed to putting it on eBay because, again, it's working out a lot better for me. And again, it doesn't work out better for everybody. And I know a lot of people have bailed on the site. The other quick thing is if I'm going to make this about Whatnot, there has been some drama on there recently, but the drama all seems to be in the Pokemon kind of areas and that kind of stuff, and the breaking areas, people breaking boxes and all that kind of stuff. And they're trying to clean up the entire site by getting rid of some of the shadier stuff going on. Definitely. Doesn't really head down into the postcard area. Doesn't really head down into the book area because we're not running that kind of games down on our end of things. Sure. And our buyers are also older buyers, tend to be. Random neighborhood kids certainly not coming by to buy books. I don't know if you can read. What service do you use to export, sync your listings to your website?
Like referring to Celebrate. We used to use Celebrate when we had eBay and Amazon and adult stuff on everything, and we pushed it over to the website. And then we got so big and so many listings that it was over 500,000. Celebrate had nothing that could handle it from what they said. They basically didn't want our business. They didn't want to give us any solution. So for $500 a month, they got rid of us. Basically, we didn't get rid of them. Now we do use InkFrog. I guess you can transfer it over in smaller dosage. So we bought like a record collection, 20,000 records from a guy. We used his eBay site that he had them on, pushed it to InkFrog, then pushed it to our eBay. And now we're doing those eBay adult cards, or the Playboy cards. We're going from eBay to our website now. There's some glitches and stuff, but for the most part, it's going to work as long as you send them over in small quantities.
Like one?
Well, that for sure. Certain keywords. So we have a date code, and we have 100 items with a date code. We can push them over with that date code. When you start getting into like certain letters and codes that could be more common or inside other words, then it gets a little tricky. So, but we're working on it now, and hopefully eventually, because Amazon and Shopify are both on there as sites you can transfer over. We might start transferring over more like men's magazines and Amazon to the website as well. So, but I think InkFrog seems to be the better bet at this point.
Thank you.
You got it.
And Gannon thanks you. I definitely wanted to talk about this today, though, because, again, I'm noticing, and one of the problems I have is I have, and we all have the same exact problems. There are only so many hours in a day. And while I'm still working 27 weeks, 2 days, thanks for asking, that takes up X amount of hours during the day. Sleep takes up X amount of hours during the day. Yes, I could lower that, but that's not healthy at all. Sleep takes up so many, work takes up so many. And I do want to spend some time with Mrs. Papergoy. Now, whether she wants to spend it with me or not, that's a whole other story. But you can't really blame her, can you? No. So that takes up a certain amount of time too. So that's X amount of hours. That leaves this amount of time left over. Well, logically, if I hit eBay really hard with that leaves almost no time for any other site. If I hit Whatnot very hard, it leaves almost no time for that. If I've got 4 hours a day, let's say, to do stuff in, well, I can't do 2 hours of Etsy, 2 hours of eBay, 2 hours of Amazon, 2 hours of Whatnot. It just cannot be done. Right. So then you got to pick and choose. Well, when you end up picking and choosing, then one site or another site's going to end up you're going to end up coasting on it.
Well, when you're selling one item on eBay, where's the incentive to pump out eBay? That's the problem.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, if I came into some incredible collection and started putting it up, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, these things are selling like hotcakes, and I've got a big pile of them. Yeah, then I definitely would hit it hard. I've been enjoying the things that I've been listing on eBay because I've been listing stuff that I picked up at Madison Bachville. That being said, what I ended up doing is I picked up, I'll tell you guys saw the Madison, or a lot of you saw the Madison Bachville haul video. And if you haven't, definitely do check it out. It's a Monday special bonus haul video. I spent $500 roughly over at Madison Bachville, leaving out mileage, tolls, hotel, food. But I spent $500 out of pocket on product.
Right.
I threw together a book auction, a ephemera auction, and parts of another auction over on Whatnot.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of other items still to list. I'm essentially going to get my $500 back in under a month off of Whatnot.
Nice.
So I'll be broken even on Whatnot and still have a box of stuff to list over on eBay.
Yeah, cool.
Obviously, if I put all that same stuff on eBay, I might have sold one of those items, two of those items, and it takes a lot longer to list it.
Yeah.
So given that, and I'm going next week, I'm going over to the Springfield show. Same deal. I've got the hotel room. I'm going to be going over there a couple of nights. My goal is to buy things to list over on Whatnot. And if I spend $500 and I can get $500 back out of Whatnot quickly, I'm even.
Sure.
And then long term, I can make the money on eBay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a complete change the way I used to do it. I used to buy stuff just, hey, this can go for $20 on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 3 years, 5 years, 7 years.
Sure.
Or I paid $1 and I can get 5 on Whatnot. Yeah, no, I'd rather flip it quickly and try to get out, which I never used to do.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a whole different thing. Exactly, Jeff. Exactly. All right, we're gonna head on into the rambling story of the week.
All right, that's me again. If anyone knows me, I'm kind of a self-proclaimed
idiot,
jokester, prankster, kid at heart. I like to, joke around and stuff and be goofy. So many moons ago, how many years ago was this? Was it Philly?
Yeah.
Went to Philly with Paperboy and some of his buddies, and we had a very small car. I don't know was it a rental or?
No, I don't think it was a rental. I think it was a
very
one of our
tiny,
cars.
It was a very tiny vehicle, and we had 5 total people. One of his friends was a very large man.
Yes, he was.
Did he have a nickname? Or was it that nice nickname?
Was Big Jim in there with us?
Yeah. So he was in there. So a lot of people in this little car, and I like.
He calls himself Big Jim.
Yeah.
He's got to go. He's got to go over 4 bills.
Yeah,
gotta.
Big guy, tall too, like big and tall too. But
yeah.
So I've always had this infatuation for passing gas, and I feel I'm good at it. So go what
we all need a talent.
But also I like the little pranks, like the stink bombs. So I had a ton of these stink bombs. I bought them online, 100 of them or whatever it was. And there's little vials with liquid in them, and then you just step on them, and in the whole trip, I rode shotgun the whole trip. And I just kept unloading on these stink bombs, and everyone really believed that they were real farts that I was doing. And it was like total sulfur. It was horrid, and we were pulling over, getting out of the car, and this whole time they just thought it was real, and it was pretty funny. And then at the end of the trip, there was just all this glass on the floor mat. We had to throw it out. It was terrible.
Well, you also did it, as I recall, in a store.
I do it in stores sometimes.
Well, you had the stink bombs in a store. We walked into the store, you dropped those and stuffed them and walked out. And then all of a sudden my buddies realized that, oh my God. And they're
I did it in a movie theater one time, which I'll never do again because I almost got in trouble because they were going to shut it down. They thought it was like some leak, like a gas leak of some sort. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, but that's goofy funny. Me. And, I still have some of those I haven't used yet. So.
Oh, great. Super.
Yeah. We've got even more in common.
All right, everybody. Fun little show tonight. Stop by tomorrow over at Whatnot. You hear me talking about it all the time. $3 book sale tomorrow, 4:00 Eastern. A lot of fun. Actually doing a Sunday one. I want to try a Sunday one, 11 o'clock on Sunday. So I got to hustle my butt down to the flea markets and get back.
Right before football.
Yeah, hey. Hey, you can either talk to Terry Bradshaw or talk to me. One or the other. I'll take a guess at who's going to win. That local football team is going to win.
Yeah.
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah, all right. Exactly.
So stop on by Whatnot. A lot of fun. We got a video going up tomorrow. Bolo video on Saturday, of course. As always, hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.